One of the most debated mysteries of Severance Season 2 is the true identity of the person we've been watching on the severed floor for the last 3 episodes. Is it really Helly R? The same fierce, rebellious Innie we followed in Season 1 as she fought against Lumen? Or is it in fact her Audi, Helena Egan, the heir to the most powerful corporation on the planet, playing the role of her severed self? This question has split the fandom into 2 distinct camps, each with compelling arguments, and in today's video I'm laying out all the evidence for both sides. We'll examine every clue, every inconsistency, and every subtle detail that might reveal the truth. I, of course, have my own theory, which I'll share at the end of this video, but my goal is to present the facts as objectively as possible, so you can decide for yourself. So is there our beloved devil maker, force of nature Helly R, who can get me hyped just by her walk in the office? Or maybe it's Helena Egan going undercover to the Severance floor, hoping to experience and feel something she never felt before. Let's start by analyzing the evidence that suggests that it's still Helly R, and to keep things structured, I'll be rating each piece of evidence based on how substantial it actually is. Each evidence has its own weight, if you will, so I'll rate it as a low level, mid level, and high level, depends on how convincing it actually is. For every low-level evidence, I'm going to give 1 point to the theory, for mid-level 3 points, and for the highest level 5 points. So let's begin with all of the evidence that suggests that this is actually Helly R. There is no foul play here, this is actually her. First of all, when all of our Innies watch the stop-motion animation of them rebel against Lumen Corporation, as soon as the kiss scene comes on and Dylan reacts, Helly is lowering her eyes, and it's just a feeling, but it feels completely sincere, like she was the one who kissed Mark. That's a very real and relatable reaction, and yeah, it's a low-level evidence, but it's still there, so we get it 1 point. Also, her reaction to the end of the short movie is very much Helly R-like. It's literally WTF we have just seen, and the look of ridicule on Dylan clapping there also feels like it's really Helly and not Helena, who would probably be more focused at this point and would want to see if the movie achieved its intended result. That's a mid-level evidence, 3 points. I think one of the strongest arguments for Helly being actually Helly R is the story that she invented about her being woken up on the outside.
A gardener?
Yeah.
A night gardener.
Even Irving is a bit shocked about a night gardener and her explanation that he maybe has a different job during the day. It sounds like something that an Innie can make up, like in Season 1 when Mark and Helly were talking about car washing coupons. Helena would have at least a day to invent a compelling story about what she did on the outside, and literally everything would be better than the night gardener story. So maybe some of you may argue that a family like Egans can have a night gardener. They're weird and they have a lot of money, so everything is possible, but it's probably not very plausible. So I give it a high level, it's 5 points.
Yeah, it's okay, even if it's bad.
When Helly tells Irving that he can tell his story and she says, "You can tell us even if it's bad," once again she lowers her eyes, implying that she thinks about her own revelation of realizing she's actually an Egan and she is the enemy that she dedicated her short life fighting against. This is a mid-level evidence, since I don't know how else you can explain this moment. 3 points. When Helly is talking to Mark about Miss Casey, once again her feeling jealousy and trying to hide feelings very real. Her contempt to the Audis and the way she completely divided the Innies and Audis to friends and enemies also is a very logical psychological reaction to a traumatic revelation she had in the end of Season 1. Now think about this moment for a second. Helly R just discovered that she is the embodiment of evil. She is one of the Egans. She was fighting against herself all this time. This is a very strong psychological attack on her mind, and she needs to put and raise some new defenses. And the logical and expected reaction here is to put as much space between her and her Audi. They are a complete different person. She cannot right now see any similarities between her and Helena, because it's gonna be even harder for her to comprehend, and her brain is gonna be even more attacked in this situation. So right now she's pushing everything away from herself that connects to Helena, and being outie is a part of being Helena. So everyone who's an outie is actually an enemy, not somebody you should do something for. That's still a mid-level evidence, because it can also be perceived as Helena's content towards her innie that tried to kill her. Low probability, but still can happen, so 3 points. Now, both in episode 1 and episode 3, it looks like Helly knows how to work the program of MDR. She may had some training on the outside, because one of the conditions of her being able to pull off the scam is to actually be good at refining the numbers. I always assumed that being able to feel one of the 4 emotions by looking at her numbers, it's a skill unique to innies. But even if it's not, still the probability of Helly being able to work the job without substantial training seems very low. Now, this is a very high level of evidence, 5 points. Now let's go for the other half of this video and go for the evidence that it's actually Helena going undercover. So when she leaves the elevator for the first time, she gives Mark this awkward hug, and it feels like she doesn't really know what to do. Like, the whole concept of affection is a bit weird to her. We know now that she probably grew up in a loveless home where she got any kind of affection only by achieving greatness. So it's never unconditional love, it's always just a psychological reward for a good behavior. And maybe that's why she decided to go through with the whole severance process even after Helly R tried to kill them both. I give this evidence a mid-level, since it can also be explained by Helly R's shock of learning who she really is, and that's why it took her a second to let go and hug Mark, so it's 3 points. In the first conversation that Helly, Mark and Dylan have, as soon as they start to be worried about Lumen, listening to them, Helly is the one to notice that there are no more cameras anymore in the MDR department. Some can say this is because she wants to lower their guard, but it can also be explained by her just noticing that there are no more cameras anymore. And we also know that there are cameras in the computers, so it's not like Lumen won't have eyes on the inside. So this one is a low level evidence, 1 point. Now, in the end of episode 1, Helly struggles to turn on the computer like she never did that before, and we can remember that in season 1 they showed us in her first day she didn't have any trouble doing so. So it can be explained by her doing it for the first time ever. This is definitely high-level evidence, since that camera focused on her missing the button, so the creators really wanted us to notice this moment. It's 5 points. Now also, when we see the files on her computer, one of them is actually called Santa Mira, which is a fictional town in California in the movie The Invasion of the Body Snatcher, which is definitely a hint, and I would actually put it on the high level here, so 5 points. Now in episode 2 already, when Helena is watching and re-watching Helly R kissing Mark, we can see how fascinated she is with the burst of emotions. She's fascinated with Helly and her being a force of nature, someone who she can never be on the outside, but she can be as an innie, and this is a clear motivation for her to take her place. It's also a high level evidence because it gives us a very clear motivation for Helena to go undercover. Now, there is a reason that just comes from logic. Helly R threatened to cut off her fingers. She tried to hang herself in the elevator. What she will do after learning that she is an Aegon? She is completely unpredictable, and it's a huge risk to let her wake up with everybody else on the severed floor. It's way easier to just pretend that you are Helly R and go undercover. This is also a very high level evidence. This is obviously not all. We also have this look that Mr. Drummond and Helena share when he says that Helly R will come back to the severed floor also. Now, this can be interpreted as him feeling sorry for her being forced to do something that risks her life. We already have seen how he reacted when Helena was demanded to apologize to Miss Cobell. Drummond seems clearly having a very protective feelings towards Helena, and he may just try to encourage her a little bit. But it can also be interpreted as them sharing a secret that she will have to pretend being Helly R. Now, this is obviously a mid-level evidence, since it can be interpreted in 2 different ways. 3 points. Now in the last scene of episode 2, when all of our heroes go to the severed floor, we can hear the signature sound of a chip switching on 3 seconds after the elevator door closes when Mark goes in. There is no sound like that after a long time when Helena enters the elevator, but then again, also the same stands for Dylan. We also don't hear the sound like 5 seconds after the door closes in front of his face. So I guess it's a mid-level evidence because maybe it can be explained by some creative choices. 3 points. Now in episode 3 already, Helly behaves a bit weird for her. She's comforting Irving, patiently waiting for Mark to kiss her and showing a very soft side that we didn't see so far. It can be explained both by her pretending to be Helly R, and this is the way Helena thinks Helly's supposed to behave, and you know, her actually wanting to get some affection like Helly R does, so this is why she's being so nice to Irving, to Mark and to everybody else. Or once again, the traumatic revelation of season 1 ending made her divide the world into 2 factions, the friends Innis and the enemies Auris, and this is why she's being way nicer to her allies than she was before. This is also a mid-level evidence, 3 points. So let's summarize. For Helly still being Helly R, we have 2 high levels and we have 3 mid levels and just 1 low level, so it gives us in total 20 points. And for Helly actually being Helena, we have 4 high-level evidence, we have 4 mid-level evidence, and 1 low-level. So it gives us in total 33 points. So the actual result is... well, yeah, the actual result is it's probably Helena. It's most likely Helena. And I told you in the end of this video I'm gonna give you my opinion. And my opinion actually, yeah, logically, probably after all of the evidence, most likely it's Helena. But not logically, listening to my heart, I still hope that it's Helly R, because I love her character, and the thought of not seeing her for the whole 3 episodes, and maybe even not seeing her for the whole season, kinda bugs me. I'm kinda upset about it. No, this show is still obviously amazing, but I really wanna see Helly R because she's one of my favorite characters, not only in this TV show, but almost in every TV show I have ever seen. So yeah, logically Helena, but my heart keeps telling me that maybe, just maybe, it's Helly R. This result will make me even happier. So please let me know in the comments, what do you think? Is it Helly R or is it actually Helena? I would love to read your opinion. Now thank you so much for watching this video. You can support this channel in any shape or form that feels comfortable to you. You can like, you can subscribe, you can maybe support me on Patreon or on YouTube. By the way, right now on the screen you can see the best people on the planet Earth that actually support this channel. Thank you so much for your financial donations. This is what makes this channel possible. Now if you're looking for a long Severance breakdown, you can check my latest episode, episode 3. It's a long, almost 1-hour video, and you're gonna find a lot of information there, also regarding Helly and Helly R. And of course tomorrow I'm gonna make another very long breakdown about episode 4. How do I know it's gonna be very long? Because this is Severance, every episode is packed with details and I'm not gonna miss even one of them. At least I'm gonna try, because the motto of this channel is there is no such detail too little to be shared. Now if you like this motto, I'm gonna be waiting for you in my next video. Meanwhile, bye!